What's up? Good morning, everybody. All right, I'm back on. Sorry, guys. I'm a little late this morning. 5 minutes late. I spilled my coffee. It's literally everywhere. So Adam heard it. All right. All right. So let me go ahead. We'll get started with the brief update. We're gonna take a look here at Penny's stuff. 1 second. One second, guys. I'm just bringing up Benzinga Pro really quick. How's y'all's morning going so far? Worse. Okay. Right. All right. So just want to pull up my scanner. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We're gonna go ahead. I'm just pulling up my scanner right now. I'm pulling up the chat so I can see you guys. Let's see here. Hey, what's up, morning, Nick? Yeah, I don't know if anybody saw my Bitcoin chart, but well, it's obviously streaming right there, but that's what I'm thinking. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we're going to see a rising wedge here. So some Neo is moving here pre-market a little bit. So that's one thing that we're going to have to go over. I see. Neo's going to go test uh, resistance. You might see Neo make a strong move to 38.75 here this morning. There's a small gap to fill at that level. Um, ZKIN. That one made some significant, making some wild moves here in pre-market. CLH. Ooh. Norwegian cruise lines. Looks like it might go for that triple bottom type setup there. That one might be okay to $25. So right now I'm just watching my pre-market scanner. I'll share it with you guys here. I'm just looking for price spikes, right? Right now we have a couple of random price spikes here, but nothing actually coming to fruition. Will say though, there has been quite a bit of block trades that went into Zynga. So A new high on GRWG this morning. LMRKP, LMRKO, LMRKN. Those must be derivatives of each other. Check out Vivos though. Vivos Therapeutics here. Starting to see a little bit of movement from this one. As China's Sushi, if we could just get past that China FUD, it would be great to invest. So, good morning, Eric. HD. Got you. I'm not sure if you guys saw, I posted this in live trading chat, but Uber and Lyft both having to basically sign their drivers as independent contractors. That still remains, so might see some downside on them. Pfizer arthritis drug wins European approval in pediatric and adult patients. There's a lot of flow for the $50 strike for Pfizer. It's but that one's already at 50, so it's already in the money. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the news here in just a second. All right. Landmark Infrastructure Partners shares halted on code news pending. So that's LMRKP. Okay. Got it. Those are different derivatives. All right, so let's go ahead and swing over. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Right now, I'm not seeing anything crazy. I am seeing jets, the basically your BA commercial airline ETF. That one's making new highs. It's at 2204. I'm also seeing highs on BA, CCL, Norwegian Cruise Lines. So those are all stocks that are recovery stocks. So we may be seeing, I'm not quite too sure, but we'll see if we actually see a move on that one. Yeah, there goes Boeing trying to cross 216.50. So, all right. So it is, yeah, I know, right? I know Jamie is super low. So let's go ahead and yeah, it's 8:30. We're gonna go ahead and get started with the news. So right off the bat, We have U.S. House Democrats face test of unity on Biden spending plans. Democrats on Monday will be testing that unity, so to speak, as they begin to work on two ambitious spending plans that would devote trillions of dollars to transportation, infrastructure, and social programs. The Delta variant having put on or having put kibosh on Fedivin begins to menace recovery. The resurgence of COVID-19 pandemic is dealt the most visible blow yet as the Federal Reserve officials abruptly canceled their premier in-person conference, raising questions about their insistence the economy faces limited risk from the Delta strain as it plans to dial back crisis-era support. Um, that's so funny. Um, GM expands Chevy Bolt EM recall for fire risk to take a $1 billion hit. General Motors said on Friday that it would take a hit of $1 billion to expand the recall of its Chevy Bolt electric vehicle due to the risk of fires from high voltage battery pack. A blow to the U.S. Automaker as it seeks to ramp up EV sales. PayPal launches crypto buying and selling in the UK. PayPal will allow customers in the UK to sell and hold Bitcoin as well as other. I don't like how that said sell and hold. There's no. It says selling in the headline, but no selling in the article. Other cryptocurrencies starting this week, the company said. Global dividends to near pre-pandemic levels in 2021. The global dividends are forecast. Second. Um, are forecasted to rise 1.39 trillion this year, up slightly from a previous estimate, um, to reflect a stronger than expected recovery in the company payouts. So far, guys, stock futures have rose ahead of a bunch of economic data due for release later in the day, which I believe just came out, including home sales. So we will take a look at those numbers momentarily. All right. Um, let's see here. So U.S. stock futures rose ahead of that data, including home sales, manufacturing, and service PMIs. Rebound in luxury stocks, merger and acquisition speculation related to British supermarket chains pushed European stocks higher. Bargain hunting boosted Asian shares in crude, while they witnessed huge losses. After they witnessed huge losses from the previous week. The dollar fell against its rivals on profit booking as gold prices rise. So stocks to keep an eye on. JD today, the Chinese e-commerce platform beat the analyst expectations of a quarterly adjusted profit as its partnership with global brands such as Louis Vuitton helped it attract more shoppers to its e-commerce platform. If you guys are curious about those sales, those are posted or will be posted in live trading if you guys need them. So um, let's see here. That also, by the way, JD's annual active customer accounts jumped 27.4%. So um, DoorDash, Lyft, Uber, a 2020 ballot measure that exempted ride shares and delivery drivers from state labor laws is unconstitutional. The California judge ruled on Friday as it infringes on the legislature's power to workplace standards. The ballot measure aimed to cement app-based food delivery and ride-hail driver status on independent contractors, not employees. So gig economy companies such as Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and Instacart were pushing to keep drivers independent and in independent contract status. Excuse me. All right. All right. All right, Alice. Nice. Morning, everybody on YouTube. What's up? What's up? Gold making new highs here this morning. Interesting. All right. Let's see here. Sorry about that. Where are we at? All right. So other than that, guys, Disney, the company said the court filing on Friday that it had garnered 125 million in online revenue from the Marvel superhero Black movie Widow 3 weeks after getting sued by the star Scarlett Johansson. The actress last month sued Disney, alleging the company breached her contract when they offered the movie on streaming at the same time it played in theaters. The entertainment company in filing has countered Johansson's request for civil trial in Los Angeles by asking the suit to be sent in arbitration in New York. Great. So existing home sales. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a peek at our economic data. Yeah, gold is pushing up here, guys. Look at gold. Gold is ripping. Where's gold at on the chart? Okay, we got a downtrend here. Gold is likely to stop out around 169.50, 169.40. It's currently at 168. Okay. So we have as of today, let's see. Oh, that's next week. So we have existing home sales. That's going to be the highlighted home sales. The existing home sales increased 1.4 mil uh, uh actually I'm not quite sure what that means. Hold on one second, let me find out. Mil hold on one second. I think it's month over month. Yeah, month over month. So sorry, I had a brain fart there. Um so anyway, let's see here. Come back. So anyway, 1.4% month over month in June to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 5.86 million. A briefing consensus was 5.90 million from a downwardly revised 5.78 million in May. So total sales in June were up 22.9% from a year ago. Let's see. Big picture. Key takeaway from the report is that the supply of existing home sales remains extremely limited. That is driving up the pace of the price increases well beyond the pace of income growth, which is creating affordability pressures for prospective buyers, particularly first-time buyers. So I wonder if that's why we're seeing gold react. Let's see what SPY is doing. All right, SPY has an hourly dragonfly doji. So buyers pushing this one up. Still a little bit of an indecision on whether this is going to end up going higher though. So we'll just have to keep a peek on that one. I can't believe I forgot. Like I just completely brain farted M over M. It looked like a scientific equation to me for some reason. All right. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Those of you just hopping on. All right. Quinn, is that your new NFT? Your little picture? The little... That's cute. I'm about to go and make a bunch of NFTs too, so it's gonna be fun. All right. Morning. What's up, man? So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the charts. And we already went over SPY, and where we're going to need to see a pop above, and that's exactly where we're at right now. So we've actually pushed up, and I think on the hourly we do have a small gap, and that gap has been filled. That's always a good sign for upward momentum. It's also at the hourly at 500 HMA. So holding above that and pushing higher, the target's going to be around 446.15, somewhere in that range. That gap has already been filled, so I don't think that we'll see anything there. But that would be my first immediate target besides 445.65. So um, yeah, for sure. Um, ANY, any 3D sphere court starting to move here a little bit in pre-market. I wouldn't take that above until it climbs above 455. Anyway, that's SPY. We're just gonna want to see it. So far it's holding up the 9, so we're gonna want to see this one make a strong move to the upside. Hopefully, like I said, to around that 445.65, and then maybe up to that 446.15. So far penny is relatively quiet this morning, not seeing any crazy movement here this morning. I am seeing movement on gold and such. So we talked about the cues, guys. This one so far holding up. Same thing with the SPY. We do have a very small gap. That gap has been filled in a pre-market wick. That's usually a good sign that we can hold. Buyers obviously lifting this one back up. So we're going to be looking for a pre-market break around 369.55 in order to see continuation of the upside and have this inverse head and shoulders potentially play out. On the daily, we know where we're at. We're currently holding this 368.39 R2 pivot point. But if you guys use pivot point strategy, but we are looking for 372.50. If we can break over these previous highs of 369 and 370 is that first mark on the cues. So as far as the Dow is concerned, this one holding support so far in pre-market. Not much of anything happening. You're just kind of holding this candle here in between the 9 and the 50. So it's kind of in that it's in a pivot point, if you want to put it that way. But so far, you're just going to want to see a break above this 200-day EMA. That one's basically at 351.85, 351.83, and that would hopefully have you rebounding up there. If you look at the daily, hopefully you just see continuation from this support bounce. So I think the target there is reasonably around 353.30, somewhere around 353.50. So yeah, for sure. Uh, AI, I just saw watch 3D. Hey, Mobo, I know you're in C3. Watch this one potentially to bounce today. I don't know. Do they do? I'm seeing 3D stocks move in a little bit, but we still have that interesting falling wedge setup, unless it ends up pulling out like this. But we'll see what happens. All right. Hey, what's up, JC? Good morning, man. Good to have you. Yo, Brian, what's up, man? Good morning, dude. Nice. Yeah, I met a cool guy at the park. Talks about stocks. Here he is. All right. So we got C3 AI that was moving up a little bit here in pre-market. B-Way, what do we got? Ooh, that one's getting smoked. Las Vegas Sands. All right, we're seeing some bouncing here. That one's in a long downtrend. All right, so we got those covered. Major indexes covered. IWM, guys, is one that has been hurting a lot. We talked about this one, especially nearing that 200-day EMA, right? 200-day EMA is just going to be a very, very strong support or pivotal support that you don't want to break underneath and any type of bull trend, and you don't want to break or you want to bounce off of. So far, it looks like we're starting that bounce. So obvious bounce off of S1. I think that a reasonable target is the 9-day moving average around 218 between now and tomorrow. Now, I think that it's reasonable to expect a move up to around 218.60, 218.50 on IWM. Hopefully, this will move pre-market pins. Otherwise, I do think that a rejection would likely come at that mark of 217.50 because more than likely you'll have that 9-day moving average kind of creep down and meet with that price. So far we have had a gap up, and the one thing that I don't really like is that we haven't filled that gap. If you don't know anything about gaps, usually on any time frame, a big enough gap will always get filled. That's one of the reasons why I've maintained my bearishness on Snapchat, because it has not made any new highs and it hasn't really made any new lows. It's just pretty much stayed in range as it's broke into its gap. And if you notice, I think the pivot point strategy is a reasonable strategy. I think it's good, especially for confirmation on bounces. You'll notice if a stock respects that level or not. And here, it's pretty obvious that Snapchat does. It's making that kind of bear flag accumulation, but it's just as set or prepped for a bounce or break above $74, that as it is to break to the downside. So far, anywhere below $70, I'll short Snapchat. But at the moment, it could sit and bounce in range, but that's why I haven't taken it, because it has a massive gap. UPS is another one that and a lot of you guys have been asking me about. This one's set to make a move. I'm thinking relatively soon. It's getting close to bouncing. It's actually opening up today on a pivot point. It tried to go and break downtrend, so it's worth taking a look at, as it's just staying in range underneath and over a gap. So, okay. I don't really see. Thoughts on the video? Yeah, for sure. Well, if you want to hop on the YouTube, the link is in the bio. I'll take a look at it. Okay, so real quick, I saw somebody ask me about GM. Okay, so obviously well within a downtrend here. We're gonna get rid of this pivot point strategy. All right, so you have a well-established downtrend that you actually have broken. And I think this is due to the news of chip shortages, recalls that we just talked about. That's a one bit, that's a big hit. So I would suspect some sort of relief bounce, possibly a retest of around 49. But this one looks like it has just established a new downtrend, especially if you just take a step out here to the daily. This is not the kind of price action that you want to see. You also have an impending EMA crossover, right? So that means you have these moving averages here going to cross over this 200. And if you guys remember what I just said, the 200-day EMA is normally a very well-respected one. So, okay, I'll go over the rest of the stocks that you guys are watching real quick. I'm just going to go over a couple of stocks that I've got my eyes on. I know a couple of you guys do as well. So we're going to be watching Square today. Now, so far in pre-market, it does appear that we have a small break in a lower time frame downtrend. We are starting with a gap above us. Now, I talked about last night, was kind of debating with myself on whether we were going to see this downtrend. One second. Okay. Sorry, I had to change that. And let me pop this out so I can see your guys' chat. Looking at MP today, weekly support trend line is under along the 200-day EMA, and RSI is also oversold. I'll take a look at that in just a second. That's a good look though. Thoughts on Baba? Baba puts under 155 is what you're thinking. Yeah, we'll take a look at those as well. All right. So SQ guys, we have the more than likely the test of 269.82 guys. I'm looking for great volume because right now in this market we don't have a lot of great opportunities. So we're looking for big bounces, and we are still in danger of a rejection and continuation to the downside. It does appear that we're kind of bottoming out, kind of similar to as we did here, but you'll notice that we ended up going and tapping support. So yes, last night when we were talking about where Square could potentially pull back to, and this is kind of where things get a little bit murky, is if this ends up being that megaphone that we're talking about with the price action essentially widening, then we could potentially see Square back down to 250, and we don't want to try and take a weekly position. So I'm just letting you guys know that the safer entry, even if you want to use pivot point, is likely going to be somewhere around the 265 268 level. And then I think with good volume we'll be able to identify whether it has the volume to make that push up to around 273. So that'll make really good for option trading, or for options, weekly options likely, with that 270 strike in mind. So we'll keep that one on lock. As far as Visa, so a lot of you guys brought up Visa, and you guys were talking about the falling wedge. Now that's awesome, and we were talking about one thing that also helps us as traders and as swing traders, long-term traders, whatever the case may be, and that's knowing where support is. So knowing that Visa is sitting on support, and I know I got a lot of lines here. I'll clean this up a little bit. So Visa sitting on support, right? This is a good sign for a potential bounce, because if you see that you're on a support level on the daily or the weekly or whatever the case may be, and you do multiple time frame analysis, you'll notice that there's usually you'll see a potential reversal pattern on a lower time frame, and that's exactly what you see here. This is called a descending wedge, and it's just a tightening price consolidation, and then usually you're looking for a nice break in downtrend. I think a good safe entry with volume is going to be around 235.85. I'm going to go ahead and set alerts around 234.82, and I'm looking for good strong volume. What we can do is take a step out here to the daily and see what the volume usually looks like. Visa kind of does its thing and just moves when it moves, and it doesn't really show intense or crazy volume when it does. It's just one of those things that you'll have to go back on the 5 and see, okay, Visa kind of just runs, and it's obviously heavily institutionally owned, so the price is put up and moved around relatively easy. Okay, so other than that, and we're not even till 9 o'clock yet, so we're good to go, guys. I do have NVIDIA on the watch list now. I know a couple of you guys are either swinging this or have been swinging this one. Why am I on the 5-minute? I am trying to, and let me pull this down. So I am trying to kind of identify whether or not we're actually going to take a real stab. And I think we talked about NVIDIA last night having this potential daily ascending triangle, right? So that would likely have, and normally when stocks split, they kind of trade like crap or they're very volatile. You may see a pullback on this reject. If we get a rejection of this resistance, then obviously, and that's going to be around 210. 209, 208, that's those previous highs for, or that previous rejection point for NVIDIA. So looking back at where we're at in pre-market, so far we are well above that. So we're actually above it and holding. So what we're going to want to see is, of course, a hold. The hourly 9-day moving average is one to pay attention to. That is where we like to pull back to, as well as the 20-day EMA. If the 9-day moving average flattens out, more than likely you'll go and retest that 20-day EMA, and that is more than likely going to happen once you make a few points above. So a 210 rejection would likely put you back down and retest the level that you broke out. So we'll be watching the video, of course, above pre-market highs 211.70. We're looking for continuation volume. We got that last week. We're looking for that same volume this week. If we have that same volume, I think we make some good moves to the upside. So NVIDIA is definitely on watch. One thing to keep an eye on, we talked about this last night as well, is SMH, this semiconductor ETF. This one has a downtrend, a well-established downtrend right here. So we're actually going for a test around 260.65, and that's on that ETF there. You can see that we are kind of looking to potentially break downtrend. So this is that downtrend line we just saw on that lower time frame. So we're looking for basically a similar move here. And you'll notice that it flatlines right about its 9-day moving average once it gets above it and then breaks out. So we could look for one last run on the semiconductor and ETF in general, putting us up around 277, 278. For sure. Okay, so Carmen, what's up, man? MP. So let's go ahead and take a look at MP. You got this one on the weekly, so we'll start on the weekly too. I don't have a weekly 200-day EMA, but I do have a daily one, and that one's nearing that mark, and that one's going to be at 29.24, which is below the psychological number of 30. So it could still be a good place to bounce. Let's go look right here. We got a level right here. MP, remind me what they do, if you don't mind. So, rule of thumb for me is 3 taps of a certain support and a break, right? And that goes for a descending triangle, whatever patterns. For the most part, you're looking for 3 rejections, three bounces, and that'll usually give you a signification on whether or not it's going to move to the up or the downside. So at the moment, MP is currently in that downtrend at support. And this is there's 2 levels to the support. So there's the 30, it looks like the $31, 31, 30, 50. So 50-cent little zone here. And it's important to remember that they're not just price lines, guys. There's price zones. That's how they fake you guys out, because there is no break of two. You can set a line at the top of a zone and say that's your entry and that's the line. But other than that, there's always a little zone. So for here, down to 28.50 is really the support that you're working with nearest to you if you end up breaking. Otherwise, if you go down here to the hourly, you'll notice that you're actually already starting to curl. Now, curls don't mean anything without volume and, of course, positive sentiment, but you do have this lower time frame downtrend here. This is multiple times. I could go down to the 5, but we can already see it on the hourly. So I would be looking for a small break in downtrend, hopefully around the same level that you broke, around $32. So above $32 with good volume, you could see a nice bounce. And if you do get that bounce, it is not uncharacteristic of these type of patterns to end up giving you a crazy higher high. But at the moment, I would say this is a rather bearish setup, and then a 29.30, even 28.50 retest is likely. So. All right, just a few more. So Neo is below support right now, man. And it's been it is it's been really difficult to put my thumb on whether or not we can invest in and I think it's just a matter of you can accumulate a position or take long positions out and hedge yourself with weekly options, but exactly, because it's gonna be something that you want to be in position for, right? Because if it ends up moving um in your favor, uh and we end up getting some relief from China, and Chinese stocks can bounce back. I believe that I read an article this weekend that uh, China is looking to hand over, or is looking for these companies to hand over their data to a third party company in order to track and obviously for any US based IPOs. So anything, better regulation, whatever the case may be, that's what we're going to want to see in order to see a real rebound in Chinese stocks all over. So. All right. Let's do Microsoft, guys. We went over this one last night. Don't be fooled by a bear flag just because you see a bear flag or a bull flag, excuse me. Those can get retested too. I think we see a $300 retest on Microsoft. We also know where we're at on the daily. I want to remind you guys that it is uh, cyclical in nature for Microsoft to hover around resistance. And this is a long-term channel. Such a clean and beautiful chart here. This guy's I've told you my sentiment. All long positions have been TP'd from before we broke 250, and then the leaps that we have taken on the way, all of those positions are out. We signaled a $300 call weeks ago. That is now obviously in the money, even here in pre-market. But I'm not bearish on it yet, but I am switching my position unless we see a move up above this channel, which is totally possible. You can exchange a channel resistance for support, but I'm not going to get faked out. If it runs to 350 without me, I'm totally okay with that. So I'm more or less looking for a reversal sign. So all right. Gold still making new highs here. Price work. I wonder if no, it's not yet. Not for me. All right, let's see what Benzinga Pro's got going on this morning. Okay, sorry, I just had to customize that. Car Lots opens up a hub serving St. Louis metro area. I like to see how stocks react to news like that. Let's see if it's actually worth looking at. Damn, that thing needs a bounce. So Tesla. We talked about Tesla, guys. This is Oh, okay. So do not get faked out, but so far, gap up above this downtrend. I told you guys that I wasn't quite 100%. I think that this wick stands. I think this is a resistance. So what we're going to want to see is basically a 690 break. Good volume, strong push. Watch the tape, watch the volume. If you're scalping things and you're in heavy, you're not holding full positions, you're trimming, you're taking profit on the way. Those of you who are new, it's always okay to go out a little bit further in expiration. 695 would be that upwards target. Around 695, we know that 700 is going to be that big resistance for Tesla. At the moment, this could be recognized as a descending triangle, and at a rejection below 680, this thing is likely going to continue to trend to the downside. Yeah, JD is on watch for sure. So that's with Tesla. So I'm going to set an alert at 689. And I'll set an alert. And also, mind you guys, this has a gap. Gaps get filled. So if that doesn't tell you anything, I don't know what does. Be careful. This gap will get filled. I'm just letting you know that. Even if it's a down, even if it's a, because if you see that we're kind of consolidated, we could go and tap support one more time. So it's highly likely 681, 685 in there. We could see a little tap. It, even if it trades flat all day, just gonna, don't let the trade come to you. Don't run after the trade trying to chase something. Just pay attention to the price action. So I'm going to tell you that's not the most bullish thing that I've ever seen in my life. And it is super easy to try and fake out retail here, right? Without seeing this consolidation pattern. Get my damn line. Thank you. All right. So check that out. So what this looks like is it looks like a break and downtrend, right? Looks like you break downtrend, you wick and retest it. So of course above, and I would really say above 149.15, maybe a rebound. And that has been a previous rejection point, both to the up and the downside. So look at this red line. You'll notice that is a pivotal point. So there is a good chance that you retest 149.25. Above that, above 149.50, maybe you see another tap up. And we know what we look like on the daily for Apple. Kind of setting up this consolidation really looks like a reversal pattern to me. You are holding the HMA, so it is highly likely that you go and perhaps see another retest. Otherwise, if this pattern holds that we see here, there is a chance that we end up seeing a reversal. That reversal will likely come below 148 and especially below 147.50. Morning, Brian. Good morning, everybody. What's up, Robert? JC, that's right. Rare, I mean, really with something like that too, and I mean, technical analysis, it's really anything news based. They find more material, they partner with somebody, whatever the case may be, more demand. That type of data is what we're going to want to see. So, okay, Baba. I think someone was talking about Baba. I would be careful here. Usually after a big, so just go look at how it behaves. So do you see how a big giant red spike you get, even though the FUD is there, all the FUD has remained through this whole process, right? But you still get these big bounces. So it's highly likely that you're more than likely gonna see a bounce before you see a break. Yes, below 155, it's highly likely that you see further downside. But given the behavior that we've seen from Baba, it's not out of the question to see a 166, 89, or even perhaps a 170 retest before you continue moving to the downside. So nothing falls in a straight line. I want to short Microsoft below 302.75. Lyft and Uber Guys, I'm setting an alert at 43:26. I'm also setting an alert at 20 or basically 43. Guys, this is on the short list today. I may go ahead and take a downside position on this one. I know that on S3, I think we're currently in pre-market right around that support. So below, it's really going to be below 43.50 that we're really going to start to see some, and we could see $40, a $40 retest. And I mean, this does have a pretty ugly setup here on the daily as well. So, but it's at support. We don't want to short support without confirmation. All right. Good morning, Cinnamon Apple. What's up, everybody on YouTube? Yeah, VVOS and pre-market. I am watching VVOS. It's holding that candle right now, so it's definitely curling back up. Actually, there we go. That's what I was waiting for. So I don't ignore wicks like that. All right, you got a little pennant forming here. Symmetrical triangle. Nugget. Yeah. So what I do is 618. Once this thing starts to kind of, and it could just curl up. So right around like 6:30, I'll start to scale back in. Now it could shoot out of this, so I'll keep it on watch, for sure. What do I think about AMD? Well, it depends if we see that movement from I think it looks great. I think it looks good on this time frame on the 4 hour. You know, taking away these pivot points, it looks phenomenal. But it's still one of those things where, and looking at the HMA, look at how well that respects that HMA right there. I think that above 106 today, 106.35, the immediate retest of 107.50 is highly likely. I think right above that as well, 108 is another key level to watch out for. I think it's okay, you know, for those of you who are new, 109 is going to be that pivot point on the hourly or the 4 hour time frame. Yeah, 109. So 109, I think, is a reasonable target to the upside. That's to the upside. Now, if you guys pull this back down. So we are at the two. So this actually presents a really amazing setup. So let me give you guys an example of how I would play this really quickly. It's 9:13. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start cooling the prep down and we're going to focus in on what we're watching. And so right now, if you look at AMD, right, super duper well respected resistance. So we know where sellers are sitting at. They're sitting at 106.15 in this zone here. Now, in order for them to start losing money or just have to reverse this position, we want to start to see a climb above this with good volume. So that's the obviously always number one. This can end up playing out as a bear flag because a lot of the times you'll see a fake out or an extension of a pattern like this. A lot of the times wedges will extend themselves, and that's something to remember, especially on lower time frames, and it will really frustrate traders. But one thing I would be watching for is above 106.20, AMD to the immediate upside is likely going to see this mark right here. So that's the 107.83. You also have like this bottom mark, you know, this bottom little support at 106.50. But I think that with good volume and where this is at, buyers are going to be anticipating an immediate leg up. But I would be careful if this thing starts to run. You've got an hourly HMA at 110.65. 110 is a psychological number. So if we do get to 109, which is a pivot point, we may see a bounce up or just a pop up to that 110 mark. So I don't think that AMD presents a bad setup at all. I think it's actually what could end up being an EMA crossover as well. We always like to see the 9, the 20, and the 50 well accumulated underneath the stock and then have the 200-day moving average above it, kind of compressing it. So you see how the price action. So normally, when you see this type of setup, you'll see either a strong move to the up or the downside, and you'll notice that there's a lot of room to either side. So, boom, we could see 109. Okay, there's VVOS. VVOS. Watch VVOS. I'll lightly scale in. We don't buy full shares here. Full size positions, we scale in. Oh shit. Wrong button. All right, let's see if we get the curls. So I'm in just a few here, not a lot. All right, so it's 916 here. Yeah, for sure. 1 second. Wants to become a six-figure trader. Hey, of course. Everybody. Sorry, I'm pulling up the chat so I can see. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so BGFV. Yeah, he's watching that one as well. All right, so what's up, everybody? Good morning. All right, so it's pretty obvious that you are holding this. It looks like $20, basically. You could say 2050. This is a pretty big zone, and it may be one that you're just establishing as of now, kind of accumulation rate like that. But one thing I don't really know anything about this company. I don't like this type of price action. I mean, it does show that buyers are present at that $20 level, but so far everything is showing just straight accumulation. There's no real definitive move to the up or the downside, and you're also seeing a rejection here. It looks like in pre-market. So I think it's going to be one of those things where using those major moving averages. So even this HMA right here at $25, you'll notice that lines up with the previous rejection points on the on BGFV. So it's highly likely that this one stays in range until whatever news catalyst, because it already had earnings, that should have been the catalyst in order to send it in whatever direction it was going to head. So basically, this is one that's either you can sell premiums on, or something of that nature, but it doesn't look like it has the best price action in the world. So. Hey, a block trade for 500,000 shares of TRIL, Trillium Therapeutics, which is, oh my God.
Morning.
Good morning. Hey, what's up, Georgie?
Yeah, good, good. You?
Doing pretty good, man.
Yeah. Look at GD. It's just
JD or GD?
GD. Sorry, JD.
Okay, got you.
They had earning. Did it good. Yeah. Trend.
Yeah. Good morning, Coors.
You see that?
JD, I'm moving over there right now. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I got like 19 windows open. Trillium needs to be on watch. Damn, that thing ripped. Pfizer bought Trillium. That's why. Okay. I missed that one. Yeah, I can look at that. Upstart and lows for sure. Oh, JD looks so bad though on a daily. Um, I'll set some alerts on it at pre-market highs, but I saw what Baidu did and Baba did the other day. That was terrifying. Look at that dump. Oh. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and look at Upstart and lows, guys. But it's 9:20. I gotta start getting ready to focus in. So, Upstart on the hourly here. That is a whole lot of hot dog water. TBA. I would start off this high. You can see right here. More than likely, getting a little accumulation in there. 15-minute. So basically look at the HMA break at 205. So 205 is going to be a safer mark in order to see Upstart to the upside. So I'll set an alert there as well, because I like Upstart and the way that the contracts moves here and there. So set 203.75, that's one alert. And then as far as now you get a rejection there, it's back down to support and likely continued downside. And we have seen Upstart make these type of moves. We know how Upstart moves. Where are we at on this chart? If we look at this, and this is cyclical, you'll notice that after every earnings cycle, we go into this parabolic crazy top where you get multiple spikes and then downside. So you're already seeing that type of price action happening already, and it's more than likely going to start making, and once it hits the 9, maybe another spike up, right? We can't predict that type of movement, but PDD is moving up in pre-market, Pinduoduo. So is Billy. Um, but that's what I would be looking for, is similar movement. So watch for that 9-day moving average retest. Lows, that stupid stock. Oh, okay, so daily 500 HMA break and hold. Beautiful. Love it. Good volume so far on the push after earnings. I love that as well. I do think that it's due for some type of small pullback. I think that you're going to be starting and this is just a speculative pattern here, but I'm starting to see a little support and resistance start to develop. And you guys probably already guessed it, a rising wedge. So that's the 2-hour time frame. Could do it on the hourly as well. So watch for lows to consolidate, pop. I reckon 212.50 at the highest, unless it ends up breaking that level with strength, then obviously that pattern would get blown out and we would not see that reversal set up. So all right, so as far as Walmart is concerned, this is your support, lower time frame. And this is the resistance that you seemingly are dealing with the most. So I would watch pre-market highs, and you already have a strong wick that's showing strength. So Walmart above 151.80, right? To the immediate target of 152.50. Past that, that's your third test of resistance. That would likely put you up into the 153.50 range. At least for a day trade. Oh my gosh. I loved lows too. I just missed it. All right, 5 minutes. Watch Starbucks. This one's getting real close to doing something. It's at the HMA. You need to see 115. Really, the break above 116.25 and then basically 117. There's a lot of levels here, but just look for monumental volume and strength. So, yeah, I'm gonna be watching. I'll be watching Nvidia as well, guys. I'm not gonna be scalping like Manny does. He probably is gonna be in and out in like 2 candles, which means that he's using size and he's scalping weekly contracts. I, on the other hand, am likely trying to look for the bounce. I may even look at and I'm watching resistance right now, so we're pulling back to that support right now as we speak. And we actually have a small gap to fill, so watch for that gap to get filled to 208, below 210. All right, there's VVOS. All right, VVOS adding. All right, just lightly. Volume is rising. That's strength. Nice curl, right? Relative strength rising. Look at that curl. See that? That's what you like. You want to see that in pre-market. You want to see a low and then a pull back up right there. So, all right, guys. Those of you on YouTube, we are going to go ahead and hop back in the live. If we end up getting a rejection here at 6, my stop loss for this is below the 9. That's 618 for VVOS, and I'll take a loss on that one. But otherwise, thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and hop back in, get ready to trade. We got 4 minutes left. So hopefully you guys were able to benefit from that. You guys are welcome to watch last night's live. We covered a lot more stocks. So please feel free to do that. But if you guys are interested in hopping in the Discord, there's a free trial. All the information is below. If you guys are interested in the Benzinga Pro scanner that I use, that link is below as well with a discount code. So if you guys want to check that out. But anyway, thank you guys as always for tuning in, leaving likes, supporting the channel. I do appreciate it a lot. We will be live immediately after hours to take your guys' requests, or not immediately after hours, but around 8 o'clock Eastern time. Sorry, get a little excited there. Yeah, make sure to check us out. So anyway, you guys have a good morning, good afternoon. We'll be in the Discord. See you guys later.